As we push further into the digital age, bloggers are becoming the big next thing. Instead of going to newspapers, people are going to these websites and they're becoming really popular. So we decided to catch up with some more popular bloggers to ask them about their blogs and get their takes on the trends for this season's Fashion Week.
Sugar Laws started as a food blog, which is how I got the name Sugar Laws. But since then, it sort of developed into this sort of whole lifestyle, living sweetly. And yeah, it's definitely, my food followers, I think we're all girls in their 20s, not all, but a lot of girls in their 20s and 30s, and they all love style too, so they've definitely kind of come along with me on this crazy journey.
Swagger 360 was something that I wanted to put out to express not only fashion but also style. I thought that some of the blogs out at the time didn't necessarily focus on the style as much as they did the fashion, and that thus came Swagger. It was something behind just the fashion. It was that little extra something, and that's what I try to portray on the site.
I mostly socialize on fashion, beauty, a little bit of travel, basically the life of a single girl in the city.
Okay, and how long have you been blogging?
About 5 years.
And what would you say your target audience is?
Definitely single girls in their 20s and 30s, definitely budget conscious girls.
So you talk a lot about how to find great deals in the city and that kind of thing as well?
Absolutely. Like from Fashion Week, we're looking at the runway and trying to find the real way to use that versus the fashions that might be out of reach for a lot of girls.
I've been blogging about, I guess, 4 years, something like that. But these 2 last years, it got popular. And not that much though, but I have my fans, my followers.
And why did you decide that you wanted to start a blog?
I just don't know. I don't even remember when I started. Maybe it was because of the movie. My favorite movie is The Virgin Suicides. I like the photography and everything, the colors that Sofia Coppola made up. So it started with that. I mean, I uploaded some stills from the movie and then it kept like that.
How long have you been blogging?
About 3 years, but I've done fashion for a year, and this is now my second Fashion Week, so it's really fun.
Great. So can you tell us what you were doing in fashion before you were a blogger?
Oh, I wasn't. I think I had my own personal style, but I never worked in fashion. I think that's why really it's exciting for me, I think, in a way that, it's not for everyone, because I would never get to come here if it weren't for my blog. It would just never happen. And so I feel so lucky and so grateful, to just be able to soak up all of the beautiful models, the clothes, the atmosphere, the people, everything.
I try to blog actually 5 days a week, every weekday. I think that's what keeps my audience, the people that follow the blog, coming back. It's no gaps. I've realized that if you throw in too many gaps in between, people lose interest.
I blog on a good day probably 8 times. I have many blogs. Most of my blogs are beauty-centric, but some are fashion and budget. So basically, whenever I have a thought, I blog it. It's almost like my blog is my best friend.
Do you tweet and use Facebook at all with your blog?
Of course. Yeah, I'm addicted to Twitter this week. It's definitely, even for the shows that I'm not at, I love hearing about them on Twitter. And I definitely use Facebook too. Although Twitter is so immediate, I think it's very addictive.
I know you're really big on Twitter. So let's talk about that. How important is Twitter and other social media platforms for your blog?
Twitter has been amazing for me. It's opened up all kinds of new doors. I've gone to the Emmys and the Miss America pageant just to tweet. And I think because a lot of people are very much in the now. They want to know what's happening right now. I get most of my news from Twitter. And so by following what's going on in my tweets, people can find out what's going on in a fashion show that's happening at the minute, or an event that's happening at the minute. And it makes them feel like they're there, which makes them much more a part of the action.
People in a different country, whether it be Japan, Norway, wherever it is, people can actually have access to you. And with social media, that's just having somebody right down the street, right next door, basically. It's real quickly accessible. So that's key for any type of business.
One of the things that I've been doing is whenever I get to interview designers, I'll ask my Twitter followers if they have any questions for designers, and people actually do, and it's kind of great because then they get their questions answered, and I don't have to come up with any questions, so it works pretty well.
And that's a great way to engage your followers too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And the designers are on Twitter too, so it really kind of, I think, ends up being fun for everybody.
I love leather, and I don't actually follow trends. I just wear what it's very related to my mood, so it's every day I see whatever. Sometimes I choose the wrong outfit. I'm always cold, but it's okay.
Really popular right now, I think, are the sheer women wearing sheer dresses, no matter how cold it is. You see the sheer and another layer under it.
Every year when there's a trend, you could choose the big things from that season. Let's say the color, like this year is going to be honeysuckle, and get a scarf, get a pair of shoes. You don't have to reinvent your entire wardrobe for the trend because it's going to change. Beyond that, I wear a lot of classics. I wear black, I wear things like the little black dress, knits, the things that are going to be big every single year. And that's the way of making your wardrobe stretch and shopping your own closet.
I think one of the key things about blogging is finding a niche. What's happening is when I started, I consider myself one of the old school, new school people. In other words, 2 years, anything from 2 years previously, I think is pretty much established. The newer blogs that have just come up, I think it's very important that they find niches. And that's the problem. I think somebody who's blogging about just everything isn't necessarily going to stay around too long. There are too many blogs out there now. So you have to specialize in one area, decide what it is, be true to yourself, make sure it's something that you enjoy, and with that, just stay focused on that one area.
Keep with it is the advice that I give everyone. You would not believe how many people start blogs and then just abandon them. And I think, once you put yourself, it's fun, but there's some discipline involved too. And if you post a couple times a week for a year, you're doing pretty well.
Just do it. I mean, it's something so personal that it's cool. It's something that it may relax you or some sort of therapy. I don't know. It's cool.
Just start writing. When I first started my first blog with a little attitude on chinos, and for the first probably year, the only people who commented were my best friends and my mom. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I could just go for coffee with them. And then slowly people started to following me more and more. And now it blows my mind to think about the amount of people reading what I write every day. So just keep at it and don't get discouraged.